Welcome to mission number 3 of the Beast Kingdoms solo campaign. And after a couple days of wandering through the forest, the clues are slowly starting to dry up as to what direction the tribe went, the cannibalistic tribe that took their friends. So they end up having to go to a small little community deep in the woods. When they show up there, they realize that these are a bunch of humanoid people, which does not thrill Rox or Murmak or Tuska. They're not thrilled at all about this, and they really don't want to have any dealings with them. But they get talking to the residents of this small town, and they discover that, yes, there was a group of people that just came by recently, and they were trying to trade with them, and they had a huge container full of animal people in it. So that's probably who was the people that kidnapped all their friends, probably. And they gave them a brief description, said they were all red, they were covered in gore and blood and whatnot. So, but they said, you know what, we're not going to give you any more information unless you can help us, because we've got an actual problem that needs reconciling. For quite some time now, the population of this tiny town inside the Twisting Woods has been declining. The reason for it is that many of the people are getting sick, and there's no reason for the illness that's going throughout their population. They have an entire second floor of this building behind them. This used to be a bar and inn, but now it's basically a triage center for whatever is ailing this community, and they're not certain what. So they would gladly give us some information, Rox and company, if we would help them figure out what the issue is. Now, the only clue they can give us is that the water recently has been turning green. And the people that go up to investigate up north in the river, you know, from where the water flows, they always disappear and no one has come back. So it really is down to these 6 people in this town that are the only able-bodied people that can run the town and try to look after the people that are ill. And it's a wasting disease where they just grow extremely thin and they basically starve to death. They can't keep foods down, all of that. But we need to figure out exactly what the issue is, and if they had enough people to form a party to run up at the head of the river, they would, but unfortunately that would leave their town completely defenseless. So, you help us, we'll help you is the scenario. So, Rox and company says, you know what, we'll check out this green river. We would rather not this river be polluted anyway, because this is our woods too, and they're quite environmentally friendly, the Beast Kingdoms are. So they decide, you know what, if there's pollution or something like that, we're going to take care of it, and hopefully we can find a way to cure your people. Or maybe, if we can just clear up the river and the water is clear again, your people will get better. Because that is their only source of water. So that is the setup for this next mission. As the group trekked up the river, they saw all the sludge that the town was talking about and what's making them sick. So they went for a good portion of a day following everything up the river, and finally, lo and behold, they come to a place where a lot of the trees are now infected, and there's this complete temple that's been built, and some sort of strange sorcerer and his dog have developed a way to corrupt this water to feed, or maybe it's a byproduct of these gems with spirits. He calls them the ancient spirits of evil, which will empower him. So he says that there's no way they're getting their friends back from the town that have been captured in this building, and there's no way that they're going to stop him because he's got the power of the ancient spirits of evil behind him, and he's got his pet dog. So they are going to have to fight this. The goal behind this mission is they have to potentially free these captives right here, but the real mission is to destroy these 2 locusts. Now, of course, normally you cannot have more than 1 unique in a list, but this is a special case. The locusts obviously have 8 hit points each, which is going to be hard to kill, but the mechanism we're using to balance that is that they're automatically going to lose 1 hit point each turn in order to use their locust abilities. They're not going to care about self-preservation. So our goal is to go up there and smash those 2 crystals. Honestly, I think that's what our end goal is going to be. We could free captives, but I feel like destroying these crystals are going to put a real hurting on this strange old sorcerer. So we're going to start battling this old sorcerer, and just when we start our battle, he is going to suddenly transform. In a flash of light, he becomes an empowered version of himself with a flaming sword, and he's going to do everything he can to stop us from destroying these crystals. So, for you playing at home with the new Bestiarian Gauntlet mode, he is actually going to be a warrior vampire lord, is what the stats we're using for him. He's incredibly nasty. He's basically a monster at 3 hit points, and his little mummut right there, if you get a good look at him, his little mummut is going to be statted out as a slime, because if you'll remember from the cartoon show, Mummut never really did a whole lot, so all of his saves are going to be critical saves, and I think his hits are critical hits, but he's not going to be anything to shout at. But what we're really going to do is assault these loci here. Alright, so we deployed. We're doing a slightly modified board because there's a lot of things at play right here with the game mechanics, but we're playing a 50% deployment zone, so we've got our guys here. Remember, Sif is now a scout, so she gets to move before the first turn. She makes 1 free movement. And also, she gets +1 to all of her stats, including attacks, if she's in or on terrain. Now, we're going to treat this river as burning. So anytime you end your movement in there, you will take a burning token. But other than that, I think that's it. What else do we have? Oh, Tuska's a sentry, too. So Tuska is over there, and she's got sentry. So we failed the roll-off, unfortunately. Gabby and I rolled too low, and now they're going to get to go first. And we're also going to say that there are no turn limits for this. Not turn 4 like normal. There's going to be no turn limits for this. So he's either going to wipe us all out, or we're going to concede and run away with our remaining people, or we're going to destroy those 2 crystals. So let's see how it goes. Sif got to move before the first turn, so she moves from here to there. And she got into the slime. It's going to give her a burning token, but oh well, because she gets +1 to all of her other stats. So, the sorcerer, Mumm-Ra, flies down here, charges into there. He gets a burning token as well. And he has aura naturally, so he hits her with aura. He does a nothing and a bludgeon in her head. And then he proceeds to reroll hits 1 through 7. And so he's a complete monster is what he is. He is 100% a stone cold killer. And exactly what he does is Gabby was not able to save any of the rolls, and poor Sif is dead. But shockingly enough, Sif had 2 attacks because she's in area terrain. She critically hit both of her attacks and did 4 damage to him. But then well, actually, one of his hits failed, so this Spirit of Evil crystal took a hit point off to make it a critical, and that's partially why she died. But then he failed one of his saves, so the other Spirit of Evil removed a hit point, and he saved everything. Steven Seagal moves up here. He put Time Slip on himself. He successfully cast Aura, and he failed his cast on Curse there. But he used the Time Slip to curse his save -1. And that was all he did. There was no reason really to do a barrier. Now, having said that, the right Spirit of Evil cast Protect successfully on him. So he's got -1 save and then +2 save. So he's only +1 thanks to Steven's curse. And the other thing it had was healing, and Mumm-Ra is not injured. So that is it. They can't heal themselves, obviously, for any reason. Loci can't do that, so... Next up is us. Our next activation finds Tuska moving her 10 inches with her fast movement. Remember, she's a sentry, so she's going to play guard for her whole team against Mumm-Ra. So she's going to sit here, and if he tries to charge any of them, he's going to have to end within 4 inches of her, and then she will shoot him. In the meantime, we used our command token, because Rox is still alive, and had her aim. She fired both of her shots at Mumm-Ra and missed them both. Next person activation was Mummut. Mummut flies over here and fails his charge on Steven. Our next activation found Murmak moving and running all the way up to the crystal. Unfortunately, we rolled high enough that we needed a 9 to charge, and if we had actually rolled, if we had declared to charge, we would have actually made it, but we rolled a 9 to run. So Murmak stops right at the end there, and then that left Ancient Spirit of Evil activates. It tried to pause him using Disrupt, and it critically failed, hurting itself. But then it critically passed a movement blocking barrier, so it's trying to protect it and its buddy. Murmak is screaming at the base of the steps. I have to tell you guys, this was an epic battle. So Rox has aura on him already. He's going to be doing 2 Crushing Wound chart rolls. The Mumm-Ra model also has aura on him, so he's going to be doing 2 Piercing chart rolls. But Rox also has Tackle model ability, so he rolled higher than a 6, so he was doing 3 Crushing Wound chart rolls. Now, he ended up doing -4 to the willpower of Mumm-Ra, but Mumm-Ra was able to get a critical 10 and hurt Rox by 1 damage. Then this epic battle proceeded like nothing I can believe. So Rox had 3 attacks. He hit with all of them despite the -2 fight skill from Mumm-Ra, and he also, one of them was a critical. So he hits 4 times on Mumm-Ra. Mumm-Ra's got 5 hit points total. He hits 4 times, and Mumm-Ra at this juncture with the Protect and the Curse and all of that has a save of 5. Look what Gabby rolls for the saves for Mumm-Ra. He needed a 1 through 5. So Rox just slams into Mumm-Ra. They're fighting in the sludge, and he does 4 unsaved damage to Mumm-Ra. Then we roll the damage chart, and I said, Gabby, you need a 10. You need a 10 for one of these rolls, and boom, there's our 10. We both cheered. So Rox, in one fell swoop, charges into Mumm-Ra and obliterates him. Unfortunately, the same goes for Mumm-Ra. Mumm-Ra hits with all of his attacks, all 3 attacks, and Rox does not save a single one of them. So these 2 titans just crashed into each other, and they both died, which is just truly insane. That was a really, really, really great battle. And unfortunately, though, we've already lost 2 models. Fortunately for us, this is not a new turn, because both of those Ancient Spirits of Evil could use their thing to heal him and protect him and all that. But luckily, they've already been activated. Alright, so we have had an extremely eventful turn 1. What we're going to do now, we're going to play by the seat of our pants just a little bit. I feel like Mumm-Ra is going to be hiding somewhere nearby. Maybe he walks through that portal, that slime portal, or whatever he does. So if we roll a 9 or 10 at the beginning of any turn, both of those crystals are going to lose 1 hit point each, and Mumm-Ra comes back with full health. So let's see what happens there. So let's go ahead and roll. Gabby, go ahead and roll that. Good, a 6. Okay, nothing happens. So now we can play as normal. We've lost more models than they have, so let's get activating. Alright, Tuska activates. She moves up, and she shoots at the left Spirit of Ancient Evil, and she gives it -2 dexterity. In other words, it's just easier to hit. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Just shut up, stick with it. And deals a damage. It does not use that for self-preservation. We already said it's not. It will end up using its Locus ability probably to make one of its casting rolls a critical. But anyway, the next one to activate is the right Spirit of Evil. It removes a hit point and causes its Protect ability to be a critical to heal to protect both of them better. So now they're at 5 hit points and 6 hit points. And its other thing was healing, which they cannot legally be healed, and Mumm-Mutt is not hurt. Gabby brought up a good point that our beast people like animals. So we are not going to actively attack Mumm-Mutt. If he attacks us, we'll fight back in close combat, but we are not actually going to assault him or shoot at him because he is a fellow animal, and honestly, we feel like he is oppressed. So if he chooses to go after us, that's fine. Steven activates next. He puts a time slip on himself. He puts an aura, seagull awareness on Murmak, and then he really does not want a fight with Mumm-Mutt. So he puts out this barrier, a movement blocking barrier, saying, "Go away, puppy." Mumm-Mutt is apparently mad that we killed his buddy Mumm-Ra, so he is going to run around here. He attempts to charge and rolls another 1. So it seems like, keeping with his true intentions from the cartoon, I feel like Mummut is really not having his heart in this whole battle. I feel like he's pretending like he wants to protect Mumm-Ra, but doesn't really seem like he really wants any trouble. Murmak moves around with his 8-inch movement and critically charges this crystal. He gives it an agony, believe it or not, damaging the spirit inside this crystal and cracking it. Then he's able to do an unsaved wound on this crystal, because the crystal's not going to use its dice modifying ability to save itself. And he does a damage to it, and then he does a critical wound on it. So he was able to do 2 damage on this crystal and put it in agony, which is pretty darn good. Unfortunately, the crystal was able to strike out with some energy and dealt a damage to him as well. The last model that needed activating was this Ancient Spirit of Evil, and unfortunately it could just not get past its agony. So what it's going to do is make its agony go away, change its dice roll, remove a hit point, and now it's at 2 hit points. I can't find a 2. 2s don't exist on this dice apparently. There it is. It's at 2 hit points now, and now it's going to cast Confusion on Murmak. 7, and Murmak is now confused, and it's also got Barrier. It's going to put up 1 barrier. And it also went off as well. So it put the barrier up and it confused Murmak. Okay, if we roll a 9 or 10, Mumm-Ra's coming back. Roll right there. Okay, good. So Mumm-Ra is not coming back this turn. That's good to know. We lost more people, so we get to go first. The first activation of this turn sees Steven go into the sludge and take a burning token in order to get into his 6-inch range for Murmak, and he successfully gives him a time slip so that in case he fails his willpower, he can clear it. And he critically fails his... What was it? He critically fails his aura on Murmak. So Murmak actually does not have this aura anymore. And that was a natural 10 he got. So he did a damage to himself. He successfully put the barrier back up, holding Mummut back, and he cursed -2 willpower to this crystal. The right crystal activated after that, and successfully put a protect on the other crystal. It did not use its dice manipulation ability because I think they're going to be doing that on close combat now. They're going to be changing their hit rolls into critical hit rolls. Tuska aims at this crystal and does an unsaved damage to it despite it having a save of 7 right now. And she manages to blind the spirit inside it. So I guess the crystal is so shattered the spirit can't hardly see out of it. That's interesting. And then Mummut activates and attempts to charge Steven, and I am not lying to you at all. I wish we got it on camera. This is the 3rd one that Mummut has rolled to charge. This is just nuts. This right now proves to me that Mummut really doesn't want to fight us. Murmak successfully passes his willpower check. He charges the gem again and is able to do no damage whatsoever to the gem. The gem strikes back. This Ancient Spirit of Evil takes a hit point to make its hit a critical hit, and Murmak is unable to save 1 of them. So it almost killed him. He had a 1 through 3 save, and he made 1 of them. But this one on the left is sitting at a save of 1 through 7 right now. So it's pretty tough to kill. The last person to activate is the crystal on the left. It was blinded, so it removes its blinded, and that's the end of this turn. Why don't we go ahead and roll anything but a 9 or 10, Gabby? Good, a 2. Alright, so Mumm-Ra is still not coming back. The next activation is Mummut. I guess he finally got his courage up. He charged into poor Steven and killed Steven. Steven did nothing back to him. And then Murmak is able to charge this crystal and kills it. But not before it uses its last hit point at the same turn to do a critical hit back on him. And it's a little bit of gray area, but it did. And he's able to save both of them, both of the hits, because he rolled a 1 for a critical save. The crystal on the right activates and critically fails its protect on itself. Good old Tuska aims and shoots, hitting twice at the crystal, but it critically saves its save. Then Mummut activates and charges into Tuska, but guess what? She's a sentry. She's able to kill him on the charge, which is fantastic. I guess Tuska isn't quite as forgiving as some of the other characters. She's like, you know what? I don't care if you're an animal or not. You attack me, you're getting shot. Alright, things are looking pretty good. I hope we don't roll a 9 or 10 on this turn for Mumm-Ra to come back. Oh, good. Thank God. Alright, so we rolled a 7. Let's go ahead and aim with Tuska. We get 2 shots. She's at point blank, so she needs 3 or higher. And, oh, that's 3 hits. 1 critical and 1 regular, so grab another dice. And you want to roll 6 or higher on these for the saves. We want 6 or higher. Nope, it saves all of them, including a critical. That's not fun. The Ancient Spirit of Evil critically passes a protect check, so it's got double protect on it, making it a save of 8 currently. Murmak charges in, does 2 attacks, it saves them all. It removes a hit point to critically hit him back, which his save of 1 through 3 is likely going to be a death sentence, and he makes it with a 2 and a 3, so they're still just fighting back and forth. And that is the end of this turn, so please, Mumm-Ra, don't come back. Whew! No Mumm-Ra. So let's go ahead and aim and shoot at this stupid thing again. And we need 3 or higher. We got a 1 and a 7. It's going to save that on a 8, so we need 9 or higher. Nice! That's a critical fail. I mean, it's not a critical fail, but it's a fail. Alright, do a wound chart roll. You want a 10. Rolled a 1, but it's still a wound off of it. The crystal succeeds in a protect on itself once again. Murmak charges in once again. Neither one of them do anything to each other. And hopefully, at the end of this turn, there is no Mumm-Ra. We really need to kill this crystal. Don't roll a 9 or 10. A 3. Okay. Still no Mumm-Ra. You want 3 or higher? Go ahead and kill this crystal. Come on, Tuska. 2 hits. We want a 8 or higher. This is the save for the crystal. Got 2 fails. There's no way it's going to save that. And it is going to die. Tuska is able to blast this thing apart. And now Mumm-Ra does not have a source of power, which is just fantastic. Mummut is gone. And now we have all the time in the world to get the captives out of this cabin here and hopefully find out a way to clear up this river. Hopefully the crystals are what was doing all the pollution to the river, and the town will be happy now. Rox and company heal their wounds, they get back to the town, and they've been able to free many, many different people from the town, different civilians and whatnot that were captured. And once the people start drinking the clean water from the river, basically everything gets better. Maybe some of their magical healers need to, now that they're no longer being poisoned, these people can actually recuperate and whatnot. And it's then that they say, well, I hate to tell you this, but this whole time we've actually had one of the captives that we actually purchased as a servant. And, but I figured that since you've helped us out so much, we might as well give you the person. And Rox is like, you did what? You held one of our people captive this entire time? And just so that we would help you? And basically he said, yeah, well, that's not my finest hour, but we needed your help desperately. So let's go retrieve your friend here. Sif and Steven basically have to hold Rox back from attacking this entire crowd because of the deception, but when their old pal Tricky Fox comes out of the saloon, they realize that, you know what, let's let bygones be bygones, we've got our friend back, and they get some more information as to where the people are headed to, the warband. And this is their friend Tricky, who they had missed. And he's a wily character, but he is a good, fast character. So he's going to be added to our warband list now. And we're that much closer to finding Rock's love interest. And we might actually end up fighting some of the cannibal or slaver warband that attacked them in the next episode. So anyway, thank you so much for listening and for watching this episode. And now it's the home phase. Alright, in our home phase, we have Mermac upgrading to a fighter, which is nice. And he failed his roll for scavenging, which is just fantastic. We have Tuska that has now upgraded her attacks to 2, and she also got an extra +2 to her connections roll, and she still failed that roll, so that's good. Mermac's at 1 insanity, Tuska's at none. Steven is now, he's at 2 insanity, and he became an augmenter, so that his powers, certain powers will stick and he does not have to recast them. And that gives him an extra attack, which is awesome. There was no reason to roll for haggling because we never ran into a merchant. Sif has 1 insanity, and what did she get? Actually, I don't think she got anything. Yeah, she was already an 8, so she became a 9. She only got 1 experience this turn. And she also failed her inspiring roll. So I've failed all these rolls so far. Finally, Rox, he got, what did he get? He got his execution roll improved, and I think that was it. Oh, now he's a brute. So that gave him an extra save and an extra fight skill. So he's fight skill 8 now, which is awesome. And he'll be able to throw people around. We have not yet statted out Tricky Fox. We'll see what happens. We'll do that before the next mission. But they rolled on the exploration chart, and Sif once again was the leader because she learned that special power last time. And they were able to get an item on the item chart. So they found a Silnik helm, and it allows you to, your ranged attacks to ignore cover. Now, Tuska's ability to add 4 inches to her range, that item she has, the Binor Lens, that's actually more valuable to us, I think. So I just put it on Rox. You got to give it to somebody, so I gave it to him. And the next time we meet a merchant, hopefully Steven can haggle us a better price. And we can sell that for 4 gold or better, whatever we can sell it for. I don't know. I think we get half price for stuff when we do a merchant. So anyway, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. This one was a very weird mission. Very weird. But I'm happy that Mumra never came back because he was an absolute beast. And it was pretty epic that Rox just completely, they knocked each other out completely. So that's exciting. Anyway, I'll see you next week.